Second here.
We're live.
We are live. We're live. It's the power of the interwebs. I'm shocked, and I've been using Zoom for a long time, and I kind of kick myself that I didn't put a little stock in it. Like I don't even know if they're public or not. I don't even know what the hell their situation is. But I've been using Zoom for like 2 years. What about yourself? Are you a Zoomer?
Well, you know what's funny is like I've obviously known about Zoom for ages and used different like telecommunication software previously. It was just never my thing. I never enjoyed having like 2D face-to-face contact. Like either let's do it over the phone or let's meet in person.
That's awesome. And we're gonna do a proper intro in a moment. Let's just make sure that we're firing across all platforms here. We are on 2 of my Facebooks. We are on a LinkedIn. We are on a YouTube Live, and we're on a Twitch. And I just started on Twitch, so literally there's like 2 people watching because I don't know. But I'm not a gamer. I'm not like a Twitcher. I'm not a TikToker.
You're not their demographic. No offense, Adam.
What's that?
You're not their demographic. Ooh, someone had to say it.
But thank you. I really value that comment, so much. So my daughter's on TikTok, and you know what? Like I have an account because I wanted to secure my name, right? I wanted to secure my name and all that kind of fun stuff as well. But I don't know. One, I don't feel like it's a secure platform, and 2, I don't have the time to make these like dance videos. I'd rather make drinking videos with Katie Loeb. I mean, that's kind of my thing.
You know what you should check out? If not TikTok, then you should check out Triller. Triller is similar to TikTok, kind of a different vibe, but they really focus on up and coming artists, which I really like, kind of promotes them, these newcomers. And they're actually doing Triller Fest.
Yes, let's talk about that for a moment.
Yeah. So Triller Fest. And I'm doing a shameless plug right now because my best friend is programming all of it. It's on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Check out Triller Vids and you can sign up and you can, I think, donate a couple of bucks. And it goes to 2 charities. I think one charity is,
awesome.
Well, obviously, they're all people who've been affected by COVID. But it goes also to musicians who have kind of lost a lot of their traction. Canceled, things like that. So it's awesome because there's a lot, obviously. No one needs to, I don't need to drive it home, but everyone's been affected and, even musicians. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Excited.
All right, let's get this thing started. We are live on the podcast live. Are we in April? I think we're in April. I think we crossed over that border a few days ago. I am with my homegirl, Katie Loeb. Katie Loeb is somebody who I deeply admire and respect. We are buddies. We are co-workers now, which is so exciting, as I am doing a bunch of work for Loeb on the staffing front. She's someone I deeply admire for her career story. She's a podcast alumni. She's a loyal friend. She's been good to me, and I learned so much from her. And Katie, welcome to the podcast live happy hour.
Hello, sir. My good sir.
Cheers, our virtual cheers. Okay, clink. That's how we do it. And everyone following along at home, thank you for tuning in across all platforms. Thank you for joining us on both of my Facebook platforms. My dad has turned into my biggest Facebook fan, which is awesome. He's like, you're so profound. Your words are so profound. I'm like, Dad, you haven't watched my Thursday show, where it's just a little bit more debaucherous. And I had our mutual friend Bon and Bo on last Thursday.
Yep.
And we had a fantastic conversation, but it quickly digressed to where he did one outfit change. He did a costume change.
No, I missed it. He did a costume change. You're joking.
It wasn't that profound. He went to put on his Where's Waldo shirt. He has a Where's Waldo shirt.
Yes, I love that one. That's good.
And then he also, I'm sorry?
He has a uniform he wears, and it looks great on him. It's like very much his vibe now. Every single event that he and I produce together, it's like he wears this suit and it has this incredible, really kind of flamboyant print on it. And then he wears one of his shirts. He and his wife actually created those shirts together. I don't know if you knew that, but it's all really cool, like one-liners with an icon, and they're great. Yeah.
I need to get involved with that. I need to get on that front. So first and foremost, Katie, I need to ask, because it's a delicate question these days. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm doing really well. I am really grateful. I'm grateful that I'm feeling really healthy. I'm kind of operating under the assumption that I have it and that I'm asymptomatic. I think everybody needs to operate that way. And I have a space where I can move around where, you know, in New York City, space sometimes can be really limited. So I'm really, really grateful that I can do that. And in general, you know, I'm just trying to use this time and make it really meaningful. I'm trying to get really creative, trying to do a lot of writing. I got a DJ set for my birthday this year. My friends hooked me up. So I've been DJing for, you know, an audience of like 1 or 2 on occasion. And, you know, I'm just trying to like build these habits of creativity. And yeah, I'm feeling really lucky. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I love that you said feeling lucky, because I think it's okay on 2 fronts. One, I think it's okay to be not okay. I think it's okay to be not okay. I personally have had multiple moments of breaking down. And I use the analogy where you get on the airplane and the flight attendant says, you know, make sure you put your mask on first. In case of emergency, put your mask on first before, you know, you take care of other people. And now I finally understand it, because I need to take care of myself first so I can be my best for my family. Like, I finally understand that. But I also think it's okay to not be okay. We all have our breakdowns. We all have our moments. But it's a moment to reflect. It's a moment to pause, to be grateful, because you and I are lucky, like so many others, but there's so many other people out there that are not lucky. But it's a tough position, because we have to take care of ourselves and our family, and also be mindful of our fellow humans and figure out how to help them. Right? Yeah. Like how can we, for those of us that have the means, the ability, the network, and the infrastructure to be able to help them? So there's just so much going on, and it's all new and unprecedented. Like, how do you manage day-to-day stress and priorities and figuring shit out?
Me personally? Okay, so my days now are actually sort of just, it's a regular day for me. I really try to keep as much as I can on the same sort of schedule. I am sleeping later. Normally I would wake up at around 5:30 in the morning.
Whoa.
Yeah. I have a lot of stuff that I need to get done, and waking up at 5:30 in the morning, if I woke up any later, it would be like, I would get into work at like 11:30 a.m. So like I need to, so by waking up at 5:30, it gets me into the office by like 9:30 or 10. Obviously I'm not going into an office. So my entire day is kind of the same. It's just that like my schedule has been rejiggered. So I still try to wake up on a perfect day. This doesn't happen every day. On a perfect day, I wake up, meditation, and I'll come out of my room, I'll journal. My incredible friend, Courtney Seard, who's an amazing executive coach, taught me this technique of, like, I call it reverse journaling, where you write, it's the first thing you do post meditation. You write your day out as if it had already happened. So you can just, yeah, no, it's awesome, because then you can like kind of go in and you just prime yourself and you just say, today was amazing. I had this incredible workout. I had all these meetings and I kicked ass. I whatever it is, I got all my creative stuff in. I wrote a lot, I DJ'd, whatever it is that you need to do. Just kind of keep you in a place of like vibration where you're on a really high frequency. And so I reverse journal. And then I start to just get started with my day, make my coffee, do my stuff, try to go for a walk. It's really, really important. And it's like, the weather is getting really nice, which is also an added complication to this entire situation.
I know, it's messing up the social distancing. It's throwing a wrench in it. People don't know how to social distance in the city. They're having, by nature of the fact that like it's just compressed and saturated.
Yeah, it's super dense. And it was interesting. I went for a bike ride on Saturday, and in riding down, like we rode down to the financial district, and it was like empty, because financial district is always empty on nights and weekends.
Quite to begin with.
Right. And then we rode north, and like it started to get crazy bottlenecked, and it was and it got really bottlenecked right around the area where the U.S. Comfort had,
were people going there to take pictures? Like, what were they?
You couldn't see it even. It was like it's not. I mean, like, I didn't see it, and like I think it's pretty hard to miss. So it was a weird thing.
Maybe too.
What was funny is like there's all these there's the cops were there. You had all this military personnel, and then you had humans, just like people. And I bet you that they're all turning to each other, being like, "What the hell are all these people doing? Just riding around at like."
Because everybody had the same idea. That's a problem. I mean, we have that in the burbs too, where everyone's like, "Hey, I want to go to the pond, which is right down the block from us," or I want to go to the Jones Beach Boardwalk, and everyone kind of has the same idea. And I think that people are really trying to respect the social distancing. I mean, I saw a photo, and I cannot verify the authenticity of it. I saw a photo from Williamsburg Park this weekend where people were literally on picnic blankets really close to each other. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing, people? Now, there's a balance there because people obviously want to get outside and enjoy it. And it's a critical mass. I mean, there's just a mass of people. I think, as doom and gloom as the news is every single day, I mean, I do two things. I only watch the news. I check in online once a day because I need to see what's happening, any updates, and I try to catch a little bit of Governor Cuomo's press conference because for me that's a breath of positivity, and it's a sign of leadership. It's one of these. I want to quickly touch on leadership and innovation. And I look at Governor Cuomo, and listen, there's some things in his political past that I don't completely agree with, but right now in the time of a crisis, these are when we need true leaders to step up. So what have you seen in our world as far as exemplary leadership happening? And it can happen at any point. I mean, it doesn't have to be a CEO.
Yeah. Let's see. It's a great question. I mean, obviously, I think the political landscape is super interesting right now because we have leaders that are, sort of unlikely as well. It's really fascinating because, the administration, which I think is a dumpster fire, and it's really disappointing. It's truly, truly disappointing to see what's happening with the administration. And I am furious with the administration. And I am also really inspired by some of the more local administrations. So Andrew Cuomo has been absolutely incredible. Obviously as like a New Yorker, tried and true, the way that he speaks about New York just like speaks to my heart.
100%.
Oh my God! No, it's
comforting. It's like it's dad telling you, hey, we're going through some shit, but most of us are gonna be okay.
Yeah, he's amazing. So, that kind of leadership, I think, is what we need right now. It's realistic. It's honest. It's, speaking really clearly about what's happening and what we can expect. And, a lot of the predictions that he's made are really very accurate. They're kind of unfolding in the way that he has said they would. So, I trust him. I really trust him. And I think that that's really like for right now in times of crisis, what do you look for in a leader? And it's, ultimately it's, you want to be able to believe what they say. And, in the leadership that I've seen in like some companies, it's all been about the ability of their leadership teams to express an honest truth that even if it is uncertain, it's at least the delivery, the frequency of the delivery is consistent. And I think that's really critical right now is, how frequently we're hearing from our leadership. So getting these daily briefings, using, again, politics as a proxy here, we're getting these daily briefings from Andrew Cuomo. We're also getting it from Trump, and
a little bit different.
They're garbage, but it's fine.
And would you agree it comes down to managing expectations? And I think it comes down to this understanding of communication, how to communicate with empathy, care, courage, understanding, to communicate clearly and to be transparent. I mean, Cuomo doesn't sugarcoat shit. No. I mean, he tells you, he literally would be like, today is the worst day in deaths in New York State. but here's a sign of hospitalizations going down. And then he gives you the reason for it, because these people who are passing away, unfortunately, have been here a long time. Right. But we're getting a lower number. So if he's actually he's explaining it to you in a way that the lowest common denominator will understand that. And I think that's really what separates him. It's transparency. And I think that's really what, true leadership is. On the other side of that, let's talk about innovation. We have seen everything from the Elon Musks of the world, the Dysons of the world, insane amount of corporate generosity. Yep. And then we get down to the micro level. We talk about the individuals. You and I both have friends that are literally creating masks, respirators, splitting devices, generosity, philanthropy, meals, every single thing that you could think of on a local, on a hyper local level. And I hope that it sparks, A, it's bringing out the best of humanity, and B, I hope it really truly continues from a momentum standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, I think it will. These kinds of crises are really inspiring. It's really hard to swallow. And this is a very strange crisis because there's no end in sight. This is not war and we can declare a treaty and then it's over. It doesn't stop all of a sudden. Okay, so we have this date of April 30th of when this social distancing is it's
just a fork in the sand.
It's right. It's, and it won't be April 30th, by the way. It'll be probably closer to May 30th.
I'm thinking Memorial Day.
I think Memorial Day. And then once Memorial Day rolls around, it's not it's over.
It's not business as usual.
It's not that way at all. It's going to take, we'll start to see a slow trickling of people starting to come back. The city will fill up a little bit more. Right now it's empty. It's wild. Yeah, it's crazy. But we'll see that it'll fill up a little bit more. Restaurants will reopen, but not all of them. They'll probably have limited hours. There will be still a lot of restrictions. Probably restrictions mostly on the number of customers.
I think that it's going to be a rolling reintegration into normalcy, as I see it. It will be movie theaters won't be open right away. It'll be like restaurants. There's going to be spacing kind of regulations.
Sure.
Group regulations. I think school, if I was a betting man, I would say that maybe schools go back to an alternating day schedule. I don't even know if schools are going to go back in the 2020 school year. I don't know what's happening in the burbs. I really don't know. And we're on a homeschool thing now, which is working out fine. But my concern for the folks in the cities across America, the folks where it's not, they don't have, the childcare situations that some people have the luxury of. And that's the scary part. But those people have to go back to work too. Everybody's got to go back to work. It's a very tricky situation where you have to balance the economy and you have to balance the crisis. Where's that? That's why it's so hard. And listen, I'm not defending Trump, but it's not a black and white decision. It's not gray. It's super gray because you have to concern the economy and you have to concern public health.
This is incredibly complex because, also it's obviously there are certain areas that are hot spots and certain areas that are not. You can't just be making all these federal regulations around, for the entire country when there's a place in Idaho that is, completely unaffected. So, it's very much a case by case basis. I bet you that there are people around the country that are just I don't understand why this is such a big deal. Right. And, I've even seen people post on Facebook and stuff being by the time all is said and done, the damage won't be that bad. And I'm kind of that's.
You're not in New York City. You're not in fucking New York City. You're not seeing what we're seeing. You're not seeing the numbers that we're seeing every single day. You're not listening to ambulances consistently outside of your window. You're not hearing stories from friends and family who are losing immediate family. You're not hearing stories from the nurses and doctors who are being completely overwhelmed at hospitals and having to wear fucking garbage bags as PPEs. You're not hearing any of this shit because luckily for you, you're in the middle of the country and A, it hasn't hit you yet, but it's coming. Or B, you're insulated because you're not going to have anyone coming into your town.
It's exactly that. And, now we're starting to see, I read an article yesterday that, that they're starting to see now a lot of cases pop up in these really rural areas that they did not anticipate. So, I mean, I think that, this is from my perspective, from a spiritual perspective, and some of the things I've been reading and listening to. I saw this amazing YouTube video, and I'm still going through it because it's quite long, but I try to listen to like little bits every day, but it's it's some of the leaders of the indigenous groups of the Northern Hemisphere. And they get together with some regularity, and normally they're pretty private about what goes on in those meetings. But from what I understand is that this time around, where they were not able to get together in person, they all kind of went into their own individual private ceremony, and almost all of them came out of it with the same revelation, which was that they needed to broadcast what they were talking about this time. And so, the entire broadcast, which they recorded on Zoom and they put it on YouTube, and I can share with you if you want to put it in the show notes. But what they did was just basically everyone just shared a little bit of wisdom, and it's all about the planet. It's really like, what do we do with this time, and what are we learning right now? And honestly, what many of these leaders were saying was, this is the planet trying to tell us something, obviously. And, this is her way of kind of, getting us to retreat and take a minute and take a breath. And one woman in particular, one of the leaders said, which I thought was super profound, just because, it is so spiritually based, and it's something that we kind of know, but to hear her say it was really amazing. She said that this is the time where women need to come into their power and where men need to come into their hearts. And I think that was like, if this is the cataclysmic event that triggers that, I think that that's what the world has needed for a really long time.
I love it.
I
love it. And you and I have like this, there's a spiritual faith side to both of us, and I think that's why we're connected as well. And I truly believe that there's a higher power, I'm not talking about religion, where the earth is saying, you humans need a pause. You guys have been fucking around too long. You're losing touch with what's important. And you know what? It's a harsh reality that right now we have to reset. I mean, we've seen all the amazing things happening. I mean, you look at the overheads of what's happening in China when the pollution has dissipated. You look at the canals of Venice. I had no clue. I couldn't even fathom the fact and connect the dots how close it was where dolphins could actually swim in the canals of Venice. That's even a possibility, because you don't even think about that. But the amount of pollution that goes into those waters is insane, from all the freaking tourist boats and the gondolas that go through that shit. Yeah. And you look at all the amazing things, the reconnection. I mean, world peace. I mean, right now, I haven't heard anything about terrorism or anything like that. But you know what?
It's like plummeted. It's incredible.
You know what, Katie? I think that we all see the positives of that. And I think that's important, that we really focus on all the good. So this is a happy hour, right? This is a happy hour. So I think we should turn it into a little party here. And we should have some of our friends come on board.
Hey! What up, people?
Welcome. Let's do it. Let's welcome Alyssa Taylor, Chris Adamo, and we got the South by Southwest crew. South by was canceled this year. We're going to bring it back next year. But let's bring it back to the South by crew. That's how we do it, KATIE LOEB on the podcast and everything.
I am losing my mind. I think that I have my anniversary with all of you at South by Southwest.
Happening today.
So happy anniversary.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers, everybody.
Oh,
that's how.
Do you understand? By the way, I guess what anniversary? Okay, with me and Alyssa, it's 3 years. Happy anniversary.
I think it's 4.
Oh, together?
Yeah.
No, it's 3. It's 3, but it feels like a lifetime. It's 3 because I quit my job like right after South by, and it's
true.
Right, coming up my 3-year anniversary of my new job. So, okay. All right. Yeah. Great. Okay. So, Adam, I met you at the same South by. How many years is that now?
That's 2 years since I've known you guys. 2 years since I've known Alyssa and Katie. I've known Chris for over 20 years.
This is true.
which is Chris was a groomsman in my wedding party. Chris and I met through our mutual friend Andrew in Binghamton. I've known Chris for a long. I knew Chris before he wore jam shirts.
Mm.
Wow, that's really dating yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What are you drinking now, Chris? I'm like very curious.
Yeah, let's go around the horn here. So,
well, I'm in Miami. I'm in Club Quarantine, most exclusive club in the whole of Miami. Great view.
Wow.
All right.
Wow. I'm gonna bring on my special guest. Hold on, she's gonna join me here, a little lady.
Hey.
Hold on.
What up?
Hold on. I got to get these off of here and try to get this back onto audio.
I have my side piece.
You guys can't hear me yet. Let me get my audio going.
Ella Marie.
She's just
a kidder.
Yeah.
Sissa.
There we go.
The other one is Sissa. But Alyssa, tell us, show us where you are right now.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a moment.
I'm in my luxurious bathroom / office studio.
It's called a boffice.
Yes, yeah, it's great. Sometimes I take calls in the tub.
It's called the number 4.
Yes,
call it your tub. It's called the number 4.
I happen to love the bathtub as it's very versatile. I find it very comforting, very relaxing, even when it's empty. And I've been known to take a hangover nap in my bathtub.
Katie, we've seen the pictures of your Africa bath. Was that your Africa bath? Your famous Africa bath photo?
Oh, the one where my nipple is showing. No.
There's too many of those photos.
That photo. We actually blew it up. It's now a 24 by 36.
It's above our bed.
It's above our bed.
That picture was taken in England, at Soho House, and the number of texts that I got afterwards being like, "Hey, FYI, your nipple is showing," and I'm like, "Nipplegate."
Free him.
So let's go around the horn here, and there's something really, really important that I like to do. I'm all about silver linings these days. There's a lot of incredible things happening. So I'm going to ask 2 questions to everybody. One is, tell us about a personal silver lining, and one is a professional silver lining. And we're going to go ladies first, and we're going to start bottom right of the Brady Bunch situation here with Alyssa Zahler.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
You're on the
clock. A professional silver linings. It's something good that happened. It's just been. I work in commercial real estate, so I work with clients, all different types of companies, and as you can imagine, many of them are struggling right now. But one of the national clients that I'm working with, we're helping them. They want to offer up some of their properties for relief efforts. So it's been really incredible working with them and trying to get them in touch with people from FEMA, local economic development corporations all over the country. So it's been wonderful to be a part of that. Personally, oh my goodness. Okay.
I mean, you've been sequestered at Fire Island for like 6 weeks.
I have been at Fire Island for 3 weeks.
We love Fire Island.
Very lucky.
Not bad.
I'm the only person on the island that all the mosquitoes are eating. So they're super happy.
You're desirable. You're desirable.
I've already had a sunburn, okay? It's like...
I like the skin there, Katie. You're desirable to the mosquitoes.
But you notice those are my biggest problems.
You're the target market.
And then I would just say personally, it's just been really great. I think we all feel this way. Katie and I have had extensive talks about how we love to connect with people and find new inroads and paths and relationships with those that we know a little bit. And I've really gotten to know my friends and my family more, and even just clients of mine. And just, I love when everyone's like, it first started with everyone being like, "Oh, sorry, my kid's on the call." And I'm like, "Bring your kids on the call." Love it. Like, so much better. Like I had a telehealth. I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, and I turned around the phone. I showed my doctor my dog, and she's like, "So funny. Everyone's showing me their dogs. I love it." So there's all these like really new intimate bonds that are being formed. And those are my 2. I probably have a lot more good things than I have bad. Thank God. So.
How are you enjoying your time in Fire Island? Are you getting reconnected with nature? Are you guys taking walks down to the bay, to the ocean?
Yeah. Almost every day, and it's great for the dog who's sitting with me right now. But we went to the Sunken Forest in Fire Island, and it is one of only 2 forests in the entire world that is below sea level.
Oh, wow.
Quick side note on the Sunken Forest. So that brings me back to my high school days, where my buddy Jim Jimmy, his father owned a couple of houses in Fire Island. I have fond memories back when I was a junior and senior of going off season to Fire Island and exploring the sunken forest and getting lost, as we like to say, in the forest. And I know how special that is. So now we're going to go to the upper right quadrant. Let's see if we can Brady Bunch this over here. I'm going to try to Brady Bunch it over to Katie Loeb. And the same question to you, Katie. I want to hear your perspective. You're in New York City. You're in the middle of it. You're literally in the ground zero epicenter of everything happening. A professional and a personal silver lining that you've experienced during this time.
Professional silver lining. Okay, so obviously a ton of change is happening, but with change brings a lot of opportunity. And it's been really incredible because, there's been a lot of contraction happening in our company. I think a lot of companies are experiencing this. And what it does, having sort of these restrictions and limitations, where you had like maybe a large team and now it's a smaller team, you actually have, and this opportunity to build something fresh, to start new. When you have like these really strict boundaries, you actually get really creative. And I'm really pleased with how my team is responding to all of this. The entire company is responding, as their own types of leaders. They're showing up every day. They are being super productive, which is incredible. It's interesting because our C-suite are two guys who grew up in corporate America in the 80s, and they're very used to seeing a very particular culture. And I think that they've been blown away about what it means to work from home. That was not something they've ever believed in before.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're like, holy crap, this is working. And it's working for them as well. They're being incredibly productive, and they're so impressed by the work that everyone's producing. So I think that this is, one of those moments where everybody is like seizing the opportunity and embracing the change. That's like a really scary thing. This is a scary time, but people are stepping up. They're seizing the opportunity and rising to it. And I think that is, probably the greatest silver lining that I've seen professionally in a long time. It's a scary time and everyone's showing up. They're moving. So it's great. It's really cool. It's really, really cool.
That's awesome.
And then personal silver lining, you said as well?
Yeah, you're not getting off the hook there.
No. Like personally, things are like great. Like I'm having a great time. I'm, it's nice to, I have a quarantine buddy, which is nice. Hi, Charlie. You're watching. And then I also have been really embracing this creative piece. Like I've always been a creative person, but I think that when we are, especially in New York, you are so sort of like involved in what it is that you're doing every single day. Like your life is your work, and you kind of lose the energy to do the creative stuff that keeps you like vibrant and alive. And I've been doing so many creative activities. I've picked up all this stuff that I dropped as a little kid, even, so like.
You were DJing since you were 3. You had to pick that up.
No, DJing is new, but like things like beating, like working with my hands. Like I've been working a lot more with my hands, like hanging things on walls, putting things together, like, setting up my speakers and stuff like that. I always have help from friends, but like, it's, like working with my hands has been really, really amazing. And, I'm doing a ton of writing. It's really good. It's a really good moment right now, personally and professionally. So it's weird. It's a weird time. This is not going to be forever, but like, that's why we need to embrace it while we can.
No, that's fantastic. I'm sorry, I had to mute for a second because Oliver was chirping for mommy. So that's real life. That's what's happening on calls these days.
Yeah, that's the thing. I keep hearing this. It's like you're meant to cheer on your friends who are parents. So how are the parents? I think that, everyone who's left needs to decide.
We have a new daddy here too.
Yeah, we'll get to Chris in a second. One quick thing, I know that your dad, Katie, he hung around the shop for a long time, and that's like such an old school amazing mentality where it's kind of like the captain of the ship, right? The captain of the ship is going to stay there until the ship goes down, like if it goes down, right? And that's something that, you know, I love about your dad. Like, I love the old school awesomeness of him. And I think I got to have him on the show. I think I'm ready for it. I think I'm ready. No drink. I cannot be having a drink. I got to be sharp. I got to be ready to go.
You got to be sharp. But he's like, I mean, he and his red wine. Oh my gosh. If anyone here, well, definitely Alyssa knows him well. Like his red wine, it's like, that is his. I mean, he'll have maybe 2 glasses throughout the day. But like, when he has his red wine, that's his happy place. We have to give it to him. Like that.
Bring him down.
Sorry, the kids are coming down. Now we got the homeless bucket. We're gonna. Oh man, this is real life. I want everyone to understand this here. On the right side of the screen, that this is reality. Chris, you're getting into it because your son. How old is your son? How old is he now?
He's 5 months old, so I'm really enjoying it.
You're close. You're there.
It's actually the perfect age because when you're home when 5 months old, the kid can't go anywhere, can't do anything. He's just chilling. So I'm getting to like work with him pretty closely, and that's been a social side blessing for me. I've been loving just having him.
Sorry, hold on, Nina.
You need to charge it for a little bit.
We're talking about iPads. So the big dilemma in our house is
our iPad died. So the world is ending. She hung up on Gabriella. She didn't even get to say goodbye.
My main concern.
These kinds of problems.
My main concern is the infrastructure around the iPad charging. Let this be my most privileged moment of. Anyway, so I want to shift gears to my buddy Chris Adamo. He's down in Miami. First and foremost, Chris, you know how much I love you and I love your shirts and the fact that you keep that top button. You're absolutely disciplined with that. I love it. First, let's give us a little State of the Union. What's happening down in South Florida? It's real. It's down there. People are taking it seriously.
People actually are taking it very seriously here, which I was very impressed by. I'm in South Beach, the tourism capital of Florida, and not a soul. I go biking every day for like an hour. I just get outside and I see no one, which is impressively blew my mind. Beaches are closed. First time ever.
Or no, you said they're closed?
Yeah, beaches are closed. So you can't go on the beach at all. So no one's here. It's kind of surreal. It's like being in Times Square with no one there. It's like, where is everybody? Which is encouraging. I think, we're going to start to flatten out ourselves hopefully soon. We caught it a little later. So we'll see. But since I work in news and media across the country, we've been playing like superhero in every city, being like the curational voice of like what's happening, how to feel, how to get engaged in what's going on around you. And we've been like sharing all the actual bright spots, which a lot of times people don't hear in the news.
The good news, right? Like, let's talk about
the good news.
John Krasinski.
A lot of good news out there. All that. Yeah, so basically we do a daily COVID bulletin board, but all the good news about COVID. So people who are doing like donations and drives and stories that people are like sharing with us, like they're happening on day-to-day life, normal things, which people don't ever report on. In Pittsburgh, we did a cool thing called portraits. So people's family portraits on their porch, which is really cute. And again, some great submissions. Yeah, portraits. They've been showing like how they feel on paper, and like the whole family is like feelings in like one picture. It's pretty interesting. I'll show you guys the link to that. So we've been really busy, which is a good thing for us. Ad revenue in the toilet bowl, but sponsorships are actually high of like folks who want to help people around the virus. So we've been doing a bunch of like donation drives for our own reporters and for other people's organizations. So for us, it's been really nice to see that. And a lot of times you read media, all you do is get down. So we feel pretty good about it. It's a whole new area for us, actually, for a business to help other people, other organizations to create and drive dollars that actually can pay their employees. And then personally, being a dad is amazing this time. So I get to go home. I'm home all day with him. I get to have that connection that I wouldn't have otherwise. I'm usually out of the house 12 hours a day. I get home, he's sleeping. So that's like I missed all those hours.
Right.
Now I'm, diaper changes mid-conference call, which is awesome and also, a good vision at the same time.
It's really
pretty impressive
and pretty gross at the same time.
Yeah, but it happens, and it's real life.
Yeah,
our entire company, I think like 3/4 of them have kids, so they're all doing like the same thing, working and teaching their kid, taking care of their kids at the same time. And man, it's hard. We're definitely seeing people do less but do more impactful work. So they're basically taking on what they can and doing it really well. So there's definitely there's bright spots.
I mean, you bring up something interesting too, and I think it's just empathy across the board that we're seeing in all of our respective lives and area. I think everyone just has a greater bandwidth for empathy and understanding of what other people are going through. And I really hope when we come out of this that resonates, that it really sticks through, and we don't go back to business as usual. I don't like that term. I don't even like the term business as usual. Alyssa, when someone says the term business as usual, right? Like, what do you think about that?
Ugh, what does that even mean anymore?
Yeah. I know your lighting is incredible. Whatever lighting is happening there with wood, it is working.
There's an window here.
Just want to call that out. There's a lot of different situations going on.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, it's my mood lighting. But what I was gonna say is that, you know, I've noticed through this, I'm talking to heads of all different types of companies, from, you know, tech companies to nonprofits to law firms, and even with people in my own industry. And I think, like, to Chris's point, right? Like you said, oh, the ad revenue is in the toilet, right? But you're still doing the work and you're energized by it. Like, there's two different types of people, right? There's one person that goes, well, how are we going to make money? And there's one person that the other person says, well, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? And I've come across those two types of people. And it's like, there's a line drawn in the sand for me, who I want to work with, who I don't want to work with. Right. And we all need money. Like, let's not lie. Like, we need, you know, we think we're all blessed. We have roofs over our head. We have cocktails.
You got to make money.
We have internet. But you have to know when to ask the question and when to just do the work and figure it out later.
Right.
I think
money. And that's a tough balance, right? Because you want to be altruistic, you want to be philanthropic, you want to be helpful, you want to take care of your family. But at the end of the day, right, you still got to put food on your table. And it's a delicate balance. And I think it really comes down to being mindful of your tone and not being tone deaf in your communications and your intentions.
Do what you can within your own means, right? I mean, do what you need to do to support your family and to keep your roof over your head. But where you can, you know, where you can be open, do so.
I love it. And Katie, how are you communicating with the portfolio companies? How are you communicating with, like, how do you talk about tone and messaging? What are some of the guidelines there?
It's really interesting because I've been spending a lot of time sort of observing how brands are talking to each of their, not only like their customers, but, you know, their employees. I mean, you know, I don't get the first direct message from a lot of these brands about how they're talking to their employees. But honestly, the messaging, from what I'm understanding and reading, is really kind of the same. What's been really fascinating to watch is like how, you know, how brands like even the brands that I subscribe to, or, you know, whether I'm a huge customer or not, right. The way that they are talking to, you know, the way they're talking to everyone is really, really fascinating, because the transparency is, I mean, it is unlike anything we've ever seen. You know, you have brands that are sharing on their social media. Social media is meant to be the place, like, it's never meant, it's become a customer service portal, but it's really was designed to be a place where everyone's able to artistically show themselves. Social media has now become a place where people are sharing about how they had to lay off their staff, how they had to furlough their staff, what kind of cost-cutting measures that they're taking, how that's affecting them internally, and how it's going to be affecting them externally. It's fascinating to watch. It really, really is. And, you know, I think that with a lot of our portfolio companies, you know, what is really interesting is we're lucky that most of them are still kind of pretty, you know, they're staying pretty static, which is great. And we also have a few delivery service companies that are going through the roof.
I know, it's happening, right?
We do have one live event company that obviously needed to cancel one of their most recent events, which really sucked. But they handled it beautifully. What a lot of live event companies are kind of doing is giving, they're not necessarily refunding their customers. What they're doing instead is allowing the ticket, they're honoring the ticket sales through the next, you know, for the next opportunity that can go.
And I think that's fair. I mean, that's fair, because they still need to handle they're losing a ton of money, and you're not losing anything, because you can still take advantage of the next event, which you probably go to anyway.
Right. However, sometimes there's limited capacity. So you have to be, it's really need to be super careful about that. What I think that, you know, our company happened to do in this case is that they just refunded everybody And they've been in business long enough that they have incredible relationships with all their vendors. And that really came in handy in this case, because everybody really was like, you know what, we understand, we get the situation. And they were able to just refund all of their customers and really come out honestly ahead, which is, or, you know, at least at neutral, I mean, which is really great. Like that's really lucky. But what we're trying to do with the portfolio right now is just make ourselves super available to them. The C-suite is having conversations with the C-suite of each of the portfolio companies every week, and the opportunity is there to discuss everything, and especially the that are not going well. You know, that this is the moment where we really need to talk about that.
Right.
And as far as the conversation amongst our community, we're trying to, you know, it's a really interesting time. I think that what's been, you know, I'm sort of brought in and take your time. Love you, miss you.
She'll be back.
She'll be back.
There,
perfect. What I was sort of brought in a couple of years ago to sort of help galvanize the culture and work with the team, and you know, what's really become is me working with the C-suite to talk about what internal comms needs to look like. And you know, I think what's really fascinating is that there's a lot of generational differences that are rising to the surface, which are, you know, when you have this old guard of folks who are really used to working in corporate America from 1988, it's a completely different world today.
Oh man, I mean, but they've been through it, right? But that's given them the callous and the experience and the wisdom to lead us to what we need today, right?
Oh my God, they have lived through so much, and that's why they're entering this whole experience with calm and resolve. And listen, they're thinking about it constantly. It's not that it's not stressful, but they've seen so many bubbles burst. They have seen, you know, terrorist attacks. You know, this is another experience, and they are coming into it, and their wisdom in coming into it is absolutely incredible. You know, that being said, generations are shifting, and now the conversation needs to be different with how they address it internally. So that's been what's been so interesting right now, is working with the C-suite and kind of getting them comfortable with the new level of conversation. And I'm going to stop talking here because we have a baby.
OMG.
Oh, we got another drooling drama. I thought there was only one drooling.
This guy was nap, you know.
Randy.
Oh my God. Chris, what's his name again?
Ryder.
Ryder.
Oh my God.
He's a joy. He really is the coolest.
Just look at him.
I don't know if he's my kid or not because he's way too calm.
Who is it? Well, he's Randy's kid.
No, it's Randy's kid.
He got the same haircut though, so that's good.
They're matching.
Matching haircuts.
So, I know.
So I love this here, and I really truly, you know, I value and love all you guys here. You guys have been a support system for me, and valued friends, and valued business associates, and just friends. Like, you guys are friends, and I love you guys so much. So I want to end this special edition of the podcast live on a high note, and we're going to play a little game, and this little game is called Pod Deck. So this is an icebreaker game, and I have a 52 deck of cards here, and I'm going to pick one random card here for each one of you, and I'm going to ask you a question. The first question goes down to Alyssa, and the question to you goes: if you got stuck in an elevator and you were forced to listen to only one song for the rest of your life, what would you pick? Because you're going to be stuck in that elevator for the rest of your life. I added it in there.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, probably anything by Fleetwood Mac.
But it's got to be specific, so you got to pick one. What is it?
The genre?
No, I mean, like, what Fleetwood Mac song are we going with? Are we going like the Gypsy era? Are we going with the Dreams era? Chains?
Silver Springs.
All right.
Second was Rhiannon, which is one of my dear friends, is named after the song. But I probably Silver Springs. It's just like, it's so like melodic and dreamy and floaty, and I can probably tune it out if I need to. Sorry, Katie, no loud like thumping bass. So I'm still stuck like 30 years before I was born, to be honest.
I love it. That's why we're connected here. I love Fleetwood Mac. I absolutely adore Fleetwood Mac.
And Katie and I also got into Fleet Mac Wood.
Fleet Mac Wood is awesome. Are you kidding me?
Awesome.
And we've both been lucky, unfortunate to see in many different places, including, and I bring this up as, we're all dreaming of where I'll be next in Tulum, which is pretty amazing.
I love it. And Katie, just for all of us here, what is your DJ name?
Great question. It's under construction. It's under construction.
So DJ
That's a great name.
DJ Whip. I like DJ Whip. DJ Work in Prog. I like
Samuel Loeb, like earlobes. Like DJ
Loeb.
Make your lobes drip or something.
That's a little too on the nose.
A little too on the nose. I've had DJ Rose Gold, but it's like a little bit too. It's not quite right.
I like DJ Whip.
We're
gonna do DJ Whip for now. I'm gonna go to my lovely lady friend over here, and I'm gonna pick a card for my lovely lady friend over here.
I think he's on.
No, I don't like that one. Dealer's choice. Hold on. Yeah, dealer's choice.
Also note that it's nice that you still call your wife your lady friend.
I've been calling her that for 13 years. Yeah, we just had our 10-year anniversary, so I'll keep calling her that. What is something that people think makes them look cool, but actually makes them look ridiculous? And don't say live.
What we're all doing right now.
Yeah, I look at my mother on FaceTime.
Something that people think makes them look cool, but actually makes them look ridiculous. That is a really tough question, actually.
Welcome to the pod deck.
Oh my God.
The pod deck.
Right?
I think what makes people look ridiculous, but they think they look cool, is when you try to put on like a full trend outfit or whatever, when you're maybe not quite the age appropriate or the, whatever appropriate, but you're rocking that trend to your, to other people's dismay. I'm sorry.
Like Hawaiian shirts?
No, definitely not that. But like,
you are Hawaiian shirt.
Be authentic. Don't necessarily try to keep up with the trends just because you think that's going to make you look cool. Sorry.
I love it. And Chris, you're going to be last here. We're going to, Katie.
Okay.
Pick a card. Touch a card. It's a magic trick.
That one.
I don't think it works that way, but okay.
Shut up. Oh God, here's a good one. If you could jump into a pool full of something, what would it be?
Rosé.
That was too easy. Way too easy.
Well, sorry, Adam doesn't get off the hook. He gets to do one too, and I'm doing it this time. So,
way too easy. I feel like I need a second one. That was good.
Okay. If you had a where am I
personal
going?
mascot.
Where am I going? If you had a personal mascot, what would it be?
It would be Mr. Met. I mean, it really is that simple. I mean, Mr. Met's my homeboy. I mean, Mr. Met exemplifies everything that a mascot should be. He's snarky. He's New York. He's definitely Jewish behind that mask.
He's bald.
Mr. Met is my guy. Meet them. I mean, it's Mr. Met. I mean, I love Mr. Met. She's gonna bring down a guest. Yeah.
Another guest. This is getting
you guys should wild in that game with Chris and I. We get blasted. It's so much fun.
Oh, I love it so much.
All right, and Chris Adamo coming down the pipe here. Oh man! Oh no! We're about to get attacked.
Are you sitting in Shea Stadium seats behind you?
Yes, I'm sitting in my Shea Stadium seats too. Oh man!
Wow.
Oh, we got this guy in here. It's gonna be a little hard.
This little guy. That's gonna be you in a year.
Hello.
Look at him. Look at this girl.
Hi. Here, sit.
He's gonna wreck the whole set. He's got my scotch.
He's got the scotch. Oh shit!
Got my scotch. Got my bourbon. All right.
He's a wrecker.
Hi. Say hi. Hi, baby. Hi.
Oh
Hi. Say hi. Say hug.
Hug.
You want to say hug? Yeah. Hug. Everyone hug.
That hair is something else.
Hug.
Yeah, these are my Shea Stadium seats.
Say hug.
That's why Mr. Met is your guy.
Daddy, a hug?
Hug.
Mama. Yeah, Mama.
Oh, he's a beast.
Look. Oh, look, baby. See, baby. Say hi, baby. Say hi, Katie.
Yeah,
hi, Alyssa.
They're chilling here. So, Chris, this is my question for you. What things do you do every day that you wish could be automated?
Great question.
Diaper changes.
Say that.
100%. That's the easiest thing I can definitely do. That.
It's amazing that it hasn't
Otherwise,
been automated yet, actually.
Right?
yeah, let's make a machine that does that. Katie, come on, let's fund someone.
Oh, he's about to wreck my whole set. My whole set is about to go down literally in 2 seconds. I mean, he's literally about to. No, that's the microphone.
Oh my God, this is incredible. This is amazing.
Those cheeks, man.
Yeah, those are cheeks.
Look at the hair. Look at the hair on this bro.
I know. This is incredible. Wow.
And he's messing up the pod deck, so that's fine. It's all good. And he's talking in the live feed. Look at that. He's in the live stream.
He's texting people.
He's a
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. He could do things that I don't even understand.
We could get meta
Figured
here.
out his code on his own iPad, how to like turn it on.
Yeah,
That's
he
insane.
figured out how to hack the system here. So I want to wrap this up, and I just want to give some gratitude to all three of you here, how much you mean to us here in your own individual ways. And thank you for making the time out of your busy days to join us and hang out. And he's got my earpods in his hand right now. Hold on, let me grab him here. Oh,
This was fun. I felt like someone like really. I feel like everyone just joined our personal like happy hour.
Yeah.
That's the point. And for me, you know, this is innovation for me, that I could create content with my friends, my colleagues, my clients and everything, and just bring knowledge, value, and entertainment to everybody. So I want to thank everybody here for joining us. I hope that we could reconnect soon in real life.
Yes.
I hope that's going to happen, and I'm optimistic it's going to happen soon. And everyone, take care. Thank you for joining us today, and everybody who's been hanging out with us. I know we've taken you. Thank you for coming inside our own crazy, weird little world here, but this is what it's all about. Katie Loeb, thank you. Alyssa Zahler, Chris Adamo, thank you for joining us today. And everybody watching, there's a whole bunch more podcast live coming up to you soon.
Amazing.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Adam.
Stay safe.
We're